you got to get some kind of lamp that lightens your face up when you back off a little bit. Because I think
Okay,
if
we're
you back off a little bit,
we're live. Okay, welcome to our stream here. And I have me, Fabian, and Martin Francis is my guest from all the way over in Grants Pass,
I
30 half hour away. And it'd be nice if I could see. I think it'll show any guests anybody that is watching. I don't see anybody yet, but um, anyway, it doesn't matter because we'll save it and then people can see it later.
yes.
So, yeah. So how you doing? I noticed that. Tell us how it's going because you're probably the last time a lot of people saw you were in pretty bad shape. I mean, stage 4 cancer and really.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's see. I have leukemia and I have squamous cell. And squamous cell seemed to be the more active of the two cancers. It went metastatic around April. I had to come down from Oregon, where I was living, to live with my brother and go to the Kaiser Hospital because I had a staph infection on my leg. I didn't really come down for the cancer, so to speak, because they'd already given me their best shot, with the chemo and the radiation. And so I came down just to get the staph infection healed up. And they admitted me into the hospital, juiced me up with lots of antibiotics, using the IV pad. So I was there about 5 days, and then when I got out of the hospital, the staph infection had become so bad that I could not really stand and put any kind of pressure on my left leg because it was very, very painful. I drove down to Oregon with my leg messed up like that, and I would get out to pump my own gas. And oh wow, that was a painful experience. And then I'd walk usually after 5 or 6 steps, the pain subsided enough, and I could limp into the store to make a purchase of some, refreshment or something. But
It was so.
I had shape. And so when I came out of the hospital, even though they had pumped me up with 5 days of IV antibiotics to deal with the staph infection. The staph infection was one of those infections that was very resistant to antibiotics. So they gave me their best antibiotics that they had to fight it, and it did knock it down, didn't eliminate it.
Yeah.
I left the hospital in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, and really on my last leg, so to speak. Once again, I'd been through it before, where I was pretty much counted out.
Right.
So they sent me home, and I lived with my brother from April to August 1st. From April to, July 23rd, I left there to come back up to Oregon because I was healthy enough, believe it or not.
So how many months? April, May, June. So 3 months.
July. Yeah.
Oh,
right. 3 months.
Oh, yeah. You went from
right. I was there all of April, May, June, July. Right. So pretty much 4 months.
Okay. Yeah. For that 4 months, you went. You had like 2 huge, wounds on your head. Like it was really bad. I mean, it was questionable whether you're going to make it or not. But now, like everything's turned around.
Yeah.
So what's the main reason you got it? It got turned around.
Stage 4 metastatic cancer, which means it spread to my lungs. It spread to my skull. It was in my bones. Where else? Yeah. It was in my blood, of course, that leukemia, and it was just waiting to kill me, according to the doctors. It was because it was like on top of my lungs, but it hadn't gone into my lungs yet. And I guess it's just not gone in yet. And it's been since April, May, June, July, and this is into August, so it's 4 months later. It's kind of early. I've not been through this before, so I don't know if when you go metastatic, how soon you're supposed to die. But I've actually been getting better, so it's
Right.
thank God for that. And the number one reason why I'm getting better is because I was able to keep my cool. I didn't get depressed. Um, I didn't get worried and anxious and all those other things, and I wasn't really on my game yet as far as all that's concerned, because it would affect me, but it just wouldn't stay with me. It'd be with me maybe, I don't know, half a day or sometimes just a few minutes. And then I would see it and I would see, wow, because all my life I had hardly ever recognized the subtle emotions that go on with me, like either when people correct me or,
Yeah.
tell me the truth about myself, which was rare, but when it happened, I couldn't. But I didn't know how to deal with the very subtle feelings that would happen.
Right. Because can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, same here because we didn't recognize how in our thoughts we got, because then that makes you subject to the emotions, and it's only like, I don't know, not that long ago where I noticed like how I would talk to myself or I'd talk to somebody in my head, and I kind of just let it go and I didn't really recognize that that's making us open to suggestion and emotion.
Yeah, and emotion at times can be very subtle. You don't realize it, but like
Right.
it's got your attitude changed, and
Yeah.
your attitude now adjusts to those real subtle emotions. Well, these are subtle with me. I was so out to lunch as far as observing myself, because observing myself meant pain, and I was too weak-minded, cowardly, if you will, to want to deal with that. So even though I knew about Roy Masters for 30, 35 years, I fell away from meditating at night and I never got back on until, just like a couple of years ago. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank-
Nights are.
it gave me the impetus, the reason to take my spiritual life seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thank God for Jim Peterson. he His corruption freed me from that that state of mind that I was in. Uh,
Yeah.
I was substituting hero worship for my own self improvement, because
Right.
weak. I didn't know how to self improve. I really couldn't do it. I mean, I was as big a hypocrite as you can get,
Yeah.
because
And
I didn't
yeah.
have. I don't know. I guess I wasn't very well disciplined. I didn't learn that, at a young age. My father was pretty much out to lunch in that respect too, where he didn't have it, and so he couldn't pass it along. And I picked up all my mother's worries and anxieties and emotions and stuff. I
Yeah.
was
We so did
real,
I.
I was real close to what she is like.
Yeah.
She
But um
she was a very good mother as far as mechanics are concerned. Always made meals for us. Wasn't trying to hurt us, but she would argue and fight and hate on my father and vice versa. But with us kids, it really wouldn't be taking it out on us. Neither my father or mother really took it out on any of the kids, except my older brother, who my dad couldn't teach him how to do basic math, and he bashed his
it,
head on the wall. He even tried to strike him with his fist, but my brother ducked. This is when he was like 11 or 12, and my father put his fist into the drywall. He was going to hit him that hard.
wow, that's crazy.
So
But so the main thing is you got more objective, to evil in our head. And evil, I mean, evil, I noticed, like, just even saying the truth to yourself in words is a type of pride, evil that often goes unrecognized. So the more you recognize it, then um, so you're doing that. But then what else really turned it around?
Um, for
Something
30
because
years,
it's
when I was living at the Bond House with Jesse Peterson and a few other guys, um, I was not doing the meditation at night. I
right.
was only in the daytime. Nighttime, that was when the rubber meet the road. Because daytime, I feared the day coming, and so I tried to meditate to get some kind of stability in
Oh,
my life.
yeah, yeah.
But if you don't do it at night, it just makes everything worse.
Well, yeah, because sleeping is actually a dangerous situation, and the darkness will attack us when we're less conscious. So,
Huh.
yeah, night is very critical. Very. I
Well, and
used.
I also had compounded my problem with porn at night. So instead of
Yeah.
meditating, I'd meditate in the morning and porn at night. That's about as foot in heaven and foot in hell as you can be, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. 1 foot. Yeah.
really forced my hand. Thank God for cancer, huh?
Yeah.
Not until
Well,
I attacked my body with bad spirit.
but
Um,
you really went because when I was with you, I mean, living with you, you were meditating and getting better and like becoming more
oh
calm,
yeah.
but the cancer was not getting better though still. So what changed that?
Well, my diet it was me who changed. And so when I changed and I became more calm, more settled, I could
Right.
I could actually eat the foods that I'm supposed to eat and not eat the foods that I'm not supposed to eat. And the foods I'm not supposed to eat are like the carb, the things that everybody loves the most. You go to the restaurants, they fill you full of it. Pastas,
Yeah.
breads, rice, potatoes, all those things are pretty high in carbs. And cancer loves carbs. Cancer feeds and yum yums on carbs. Oh, I couldn't completely drop that. And so even with the
Yeah.
threat of that's how serious, it's like drug addict. Even with the threat of death, I was still doing, the carbs from time to time, and I was getting set back. I was gaining one step forward and then one step back. So it was not looking good, and I had horns coming out of my head. The cancer, it pushes out from inside the skin, and it keeps making a cancer scab that's easy to tear off. It's not really attached very well,
Yeah. So
and it turned
yeah.
into the horns here and big old craters here, and it was really
Well,
here this side of my face. It was really bad. It was like 2.5 inch circumference and a big nasty thing. I'll photos
I
sometime.
know. Yeah, because at one point it was bleeding, and we went to the hospital emergency room just to make
Oh,
sure you were going to bleed out. But so mainly because you were doing low carb in Gold Hill, but it wasn't low carb enough. You had to go almost to zero, right?
no, it wasn't, and it wasn't water enough either.
Oh,
I wasn't drinking enough water, and I finally, after about the fifth time, the hospital telling me, I finally put two and two together. No, I mean, I finally understood how important water is to my recovery, because when I would
yeah,
not do water well, they would take my blood pressure and it was way down. It was like at 90. Not 90 was the high. 50, 40, something like that was the low. But once they did the IV saline, my blood pressure came back up to normal. And I said, well, how is that? Why has that happened? And they said, well, you were dehydrated. And I felt like I had drank a little bit of water, and I didn't feel dehydrated. But
yeah.
that'll fool you. I'm out of tune with my body too. If I'm out of tune with everything else, and I really couldn't tell if I'm dehydrated. I still can't, but I just drink the water now.
Yeah, yeah. You have to drink. Someone told me it was Ted. He said, well, because I was talking to him about drinking a lot of water because I'm not, it's not, I haven't done so well with that. But he was real skeptical, and he says, well, I drink water when I'm thirsty. My body tells me, but No, you got to go beyond. It's not true, huh? Yeah,
because you get used to dehydration. See, you
right.
get, and only when you're really dehydrated, then you take some water. If
Yeah,
you're blessed. Otherwise, you'll drink soda or coffee or you know,
right.
water is essential. Just plain uh, water that's not acidic. Look, I get
Yeah.
this water here. I use
Uh-huh.
it life water. It's from uh, and there's other waters like it. I'm not just pushing this product. It's sold by Walmart, and
Oh, yeah.
it's neutral in
Oh,
pH.
nice.
Neutral in
I'm
pH.
dr- I'm drinking tea. Look at my mug. Let me see if I can.
Pray without ceasing. Oh, that's a pretty great mug. I was going to say badass, but that's a pretty great mug. Um,
Yeah.
I got
So,
a,
okay.
I got
Huh?
I got a pretty nice coffee mug too. Want to see it?
Sure.
I have to leave to do that.
Okay.
Anyway, Fabian, what caused me to have it's very important that people listening understand that, and I don't know, even Roy said he doesn't know. Roy Masters, the guy who started or taught us the meditation exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to FHU.com to access that 7-minute meditation.
Yeah. And I'm
You
gonna.
must,
I'm.
people, you must go from finger to finger. There is no better way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put links after this is done for the meditation, for a few other things, and then also I want to mention you can go right to YouTube and put in 7-minute meditation Roy Masters, and boom, you get right there
Oh,
too.
no kidding.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's why I still donate to the foundation because they're promoting Roy. I mean, they make his videos and other things accessible, his teachings, and so I throw them some money to keep that going, because they're so bad at kind of matching up to what he was, and
Yeah. Well,
that.
yeah, I'm sorry, I cut you. I agree, but the thing is, it's all most of it's available on YouTube, a lot of it, but no, I'm glad people are still. It's just I've had a falling out with Alan Masters, and he's actually in the title of the video. We can go into that shortly, but I wanted to say, Spider Baby is here, and she says, "Hi guys, Mr. Francis here, healing up great."
Spider Baby. Where'd you get that nickname?
Yeah, where'd you get that nickname?
That's funny.
It's a funny name.
Um,
Um,
thank
you
you.
can, yeah,
Uh,
and you can see the chats. Click on the chats. I think you could see them too.
yeah, I'm not the only one out there in the country who's recovered by eating properly, and other people who have better willpower than me. They were
Right.
doing 21-day fast, and that knocked down the cancer like 3/4. I remember this one
Right.
testifying on Dr. Berg's website, and then the next 2 or 3 weeks he fasted 5 days of the week, and then just ate ribeye steak twice a day
Yeah.
on Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday through Friday he would fast again. And he did that for another 3 weeks on top of the 21 days fast, and he knocked his cancer out.
I bet that same thing
He
would happen with you
had
too.
cancer, pretty big cancer in his belly.
It would say same thing would happen with you too. But I mean,
But
it's
I didn't
doing.
discipline. I did 9 days, and then I gave up on it.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem too. Well, I don't know. It seemed like you were getting too skinny. I don't know.
Yeah, and I got scared of that. That I didn't know enough about
Yeah.
fat to be um, putting myself at risk. And like I said, I'm not that in tune with my body that I pick up on subtle things, and so I was kind of a little bit fearful about me going too far and not knowing it.
Oh yeah. Well, thank God. I mean, you were on the brink of death, really. So
A couple times.
it's a great turnaround. It's like awesome. And It's just the power of real prayer, and then health, and then proper diet, because you need special diet when you're sick. You
I
have to.
I can credit God with a miracle in a sense. It, um, my leukemia was real bad about 3 years ago. I get
Yeah.
and it had affected my blood pressure was real low. I was anemic practically. I was. I mean, I didn't have any color in my fingernails and that kind of thing. Squeeze my.
Hmm.
That's how they see if you're anemic. You squeeze your fingers and then you see how fast they pop back with color.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't happening for me. And I was so listless that pumped they pumped blood into me. They gave me like 5 or 6 um, 2 bags at a time of blood transfusion. At first, they gave me a transfusion every month, and then I kept getting worse, and they gave me a transfusion every 2 weeks, and then every week, and then, gee, I got so bad that they gave me a transfusion twice in the same week, and so that all
Yeah.
added up to about 6, 7 some transfusions, and then my body started to react to all the strange blood,
Oh,
and
yeah.
uh, you know died from that. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I told him, I said, no more transfusions. I'm just going to die because it's affecting me. I'll just
Yeah.
go die and I'll be fine with that. And um, I did not die. I started to get better, and I don't know what the reason is, but now I go to the gym 6 days a week, an hour at a time, and doing the aerobics and pump a little iron, and that part of my cancer was a miracle. I can explain away the food, but I can't explain away the quick turnaround from the leukemia, because I was near death and I wasn't doing anything special. I didn't all of a sudden, do anything really special. I was still eating a lot of carbs and all that stuff with lentil.
Yeah.
I was trying to eat healthy with lentil beans and all that, but lentil beans are full of carbs.
Right. Right. Well, maybe it was just your willingness not to freak out, and you just kind of threw up your hands and said, let it, whatever it be. So,
And I
God spared you.
I'll tell you, Fabian, I was kind of sad that I was going to die, because I was like, God, I'm such a weak coward. Can I just hang around a little bit longer, to get to get
Yeah.
better? And
Yeah. Well, that's what's happening.
granted me that wish.
Yeah.
Makes me
That's great.
about it. The kindness.
Yeah. Well, he wants everybody to wake up. I believe that. But, it's just our own, it just, like Jesus said, narrow is the way. But I mean, it's there for us, right? It's all a matter of pride. It's all it is. I notice in my mind, any kind of self-talk, whether it's about truth, whether it's imagining something, it's all pride based. It's all trying to lead me down to pride. That's all it is. So as I let that go, I'm like, it's like almost there's nothing going on, like I'm stupid, but that's great. I love it.
Hey, Fabian, when you're meditating, take us through 2 minutes of meditation. Like your eyes are closed, your hand is at your side, you're moving your attention. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm just feeling my fingers one at a time. Okay. Usually before I get to my pinky, I'm off into another scene in my head. Yeah,
Same here. Same here. And,
it's
and yet, you and I experience the great benefits from meditation. A
oh
calm.
yeah.
Uh,
Because then I noticed, then the light, the conscience, it brings you back, because it shows you, it's there guiding you in and out in it. So in other words, what I noticed, that because of what Jesus did on the cross, the light is so much more powerful than the imagination, and it pulling us away, that we can go back, it
um,
because it's more powerful.
I'll tell you, about 3 weeks ago, though, I had a hot streak going where I was I was able to stay conscious and move my attention from finger to finger, about 3 rounds of fingers,
Yeah.
5, right? I was able to go maybe 3 minutes or something, and not go off into a thought. But
Uh-huh.
and I kind of, I've not, that's not been a normal thing, and I'm still doing the 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and I'm
Yeah.
into a thought.
Yeah, and then I'm aware, of course, of the little bit of fuzz through my eyelids. So that's there too. But so it's both focuses, because and then like the other night, I closed my eyes, and there was like a ring of light like through my, eye. It was like a ring, like it was big, like this, like whoosh, like a flash, like a couple of times it did that. That doesn't normally happen, but it was pretty neat. It was like a flash.
Okay, that sounds neat.
Yeah, it was very cool, but that's very rare. That doesn't it doesn't I don't hmm?
Yeah, isn't it? It's rare, but that's not what calms me down. There's something mysterious about
Right.
moving your, being taken away by Satan with thought, with into a thought, and then coming back over and over, sitting still, doing that. Because it's kind of boring. It's a very boring thing to do if you're an excitement um, addict,
Right.
and most
Yeah, I
people
know.
are. They
Well,
go,
that's what I noticed. Like I'm driving people to their doctor's appointments and stuff for now, and it's a decent job, and I don't listen to the radio, but I noticed some of the clients, like one lady, she wanted to listen to the music, but to me it's kind of foreign now, like listening to music while I'm driving, because I'm so used to the silence, and I like it because I'm I'm just aware of my own mind, and that's a good thing, because it's just getting more natural, and I feel I'm like, it's not boring, it's like I feel I'm at peace. It's like a calm there, so that
yeah,
when the storm comes and the stress comes, it's not a problem. Like it's just not a problem like it used to be.
yes, I can relate to that. Like I said, I mean, I used to like just take preparing and eating my meals. There's certain supplements I have to prepare, like the garlic. I have to chop it all up, and the spirulina and the wheatgrass. I have to combine that with some coconut milk and stir that up, and then I have to cook the food. And I was never I always ate out. I was too lazy to do any of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I now and up until just recently, I was eating the foods that I like to eat, and then the supplements were like an afterthought, and I did them
Right.
haphazardly. But now I make sure that but now I'm able to prep those foods and get them in my body first, and then I go ahead and eat, what I like to eat, which is, the red meat and the avocados and things like that. The
Yeah.
sauerkraut. But before, I wouldn't. I was just too spoiled to uh, prep my food correctly. Get my ducks lined up in an order before I start eating.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I noticed too just recently, that it's when I got married, and I married out of order. I wasn't, because I thought I was saved, so I made a bunch of mistakes in my life, not not realizing that they were as bad of mistakes as they were. Um, and that was the legacy of Bond and Jesse, and he's not to blame. It was my own pride, but there was pressure there to admit that I was saved. I was very blessed, but I wasn't saved. So anyway, what happened was when I got married, then the whole sex thing, happened. And then she divorced me naturally, because I won't go into it, it just, and Roy warned me not to marry. But anyway, I did anyway. And she, I was still loyal, but she divorced me. But it was a lingering thing for the past few years, where Like it turns on your sexuality where normally you wouldn't have any at all, because God really has solved that for me. But just that act of having sex in marriage, you know what I mean? It kind of turned on my sexuality, because now, like, I'm just aware of that, and it's just, really, it's more like what it used to be, So it's just
What did it used to be?
just like it was non-existent, just about
Oh,
like
wow.
gone, yeah. And it was too, but it would I didn't do porn or anything like that, I won't, let's not, we don't need to go into detail, but anyway, it's just, I noticed this, that was, it was a thing that happened to me during marriage that stuck with me even after marriage, it wanted to, it stuck with me. It just, I don't want to go into detail, but it was something that I've just, recognized that, um, that wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
When I'm in the gym, there's women who wear very provocative. Um, there's some very sexy women who wear very provocative, workout clothing.
Yeah.
And I notice I've been sneaking peeks here and there, but when I don't sneak peeks and I kind of keep my discipline with my eyes, I go out of the gym more at peace.
Right. Yeah.
It, it, it's a nice little blessing, but
Yeah.
uh,
And it's weird. Like when I was married, the idea of, at the end of the day, you can have sex, with your wife, it was like always there, but I knew that it wasn't right. Like she wanted to do it, like, all the time, but I didn't feel natural about that. But nevertheless, it was something unhealthy about the whole, almost like a little bit looking forward to, like, at the end of the day, you always had that, it's not healthy. It's just not right. It's kind of like looking forward to a big steak at night after your job. You shouldn't be thinking about that. It
yeah,
just, it's that sort of thing. I'm sure that happens with a lot of married couples with sex.
you know, I tell you, I look forward to watching the TV, eating, um, sleeping only when I'm tired, but just different distractions here and there. Um, and I notice that as time goes on, and I stay true blue to the meditation morning and night, for at least half hour morning and night, that I become less desirous of the stuff. I don't, the desires I recognize more so that it's not me desiring it. That
Right.
that once, if I'm able to, if I'm given the ability to let it go, that it redounds on me, with just like, it's like a reward.
Yeah. Well,
It's
the
like,
unhealthy part of it is the looking forward to it, that's the
yeah,
unhealthy part. If you just, because the more in the moment you are, then that's all that matters. And then when it's ready for dinner, when it's time for dinner, then you just have dinner. That's all. That's all. It's very, very,
it's become so powerful in me, and that I only eat like meat and eggs and whatever, right? And then after I finish eating either meal, I have this like craving for the carbs,
yeah,
a little bit of craving, but it's not what it was before where I had to act on it.
right.
But you see, it's still kind of there, that I look to, like a sweet taste in my mouth, or some kind of pasta, some kind of bread, some kind of anything.
Right.
Even
I,
fruit, even fruit, since I don't eat fruit, that becomes a temptation. And
I think that that's connection to a demon, you know. I think it loves the carbs and it wants you dead, of course, and it's giving you, it's all from that. Like, yeah, it's because it's not nothing good for you. It tastes good, but you know.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about the because we've gone, let's see, what's the time? Oh, 35 minutes. I mean, we can go like an hour or whatever, but the title I put, Trump is not anointed by God to save America, Alan Masters, because I do tune into their show a little bit, just to see, you know, maybe they're kind of waking up and getting out of their head. That I know they don't believe they are in their head, but you know, recently Alan and was there with his wife, you know, and he did state that Trump is anointed by God to help save America, and his wife's right there, and she's a cheering leader of Alan, saying that, and because she very much believes, you know, that also. And it's, I have to say, it's kind of sick, and I don't mean that, you know, in a really you know, bad way, but it's sick because um Trump is really has betrayed America, but a lot of people like them, they don't, they're blind to it.
Has and continues to betray.
That's the problem. It's still happening, and we have a reporting system that's been in operation for over 30 years, way before the C, you know, virus, for adverse effects. Okay, when you take a product in your body, and the latest one that they coerced, you know, something like 2/3 of the public, more than that actually, to take, and it's injured. Um, it's showing, I think, like 40,000 dead, but that's only 1 to 10%, because they know, the people, the doctors and such, they know it's a minimal percentage of the actual people that are dying and getting really messed up,
Yeah,
really messed up.
CARES reporting has always been like
Yeah,
one
don't,
or 1/10% of what's actually happening.
right, but don't even use that name, the just reporting
Oh,
system. Yeah, because we got to be cautious, yeah, with the words. I just don't want to, but yeah, it's so the problem is that Trump is still, even recently, saying that they're lifesavers. He's not he's not reneging on anything that he said previous that's led a lot of people down the path to death, to death.
you've been called the favorite thing they like to accuse you of, besides being a cult leader. I mean,
That's absurd.
any
Cult?
they like to say that
I
you're
have hardly any friends. What are you talking
they
about?
like to say you are a one-trick pony. Now, I'd like to say about that, what's more important than what you're standing against, those products that they're forcing on us? Doctors, and nobody else is dying for their beliefs right now, except doctors who are standing against this, and showing that. Can I mention a name, a doctor's name? You
Yeah.
think, you think that'll torpedo the
No. No, I think it's okay.
clone? Is controlled opposition. He is the Trojan horse within the opposition to the product.
Dr. Malone, yeah, I believe so too. And there's another
That
doctor, I think in Germany.
you showed me,
She just,
yeah.
she just died.
Went to Mexico to hide, and they still found her, and they killed her. Now,
well,
what other cause are people dying for?
yeah, and the thing is that they didn't, you
Well,
know,
abortion and not have the government try to kill
she
you.
was pretty young, and they know that she was healthy, you know. There's been other people who have exposed the producers of these you know, V's, that have been killed, young people. I mean, that's just a fact, you know, because
But I want to say, just like you are going against Trump, she went against Malone, and Malone is like the leader, the guy who invented that four-letter product that
yeah,
we speak. He
messenger, yeah.
invented, and then he's now leading the opposition against it. And They
He's
all
not the leader.
that if you want to, destroy an opposition to something, become the leader of it, and then
Right.
within to.
But he's not Martin. He's not the leader. He just won. He just one voice. There's other more like Dr. Madej, Dr. Tenpenny,
No,
Mike Adams.
Malone. I'm saying Malone is in there trying to mess things up.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
He's been with the government for many years. He's
Yeah.
worked NIH and the Pentagon. He's got friends in lots of high places. So when she started to expose him, that was like signing her own death warrant.
So I wanted to, well, Karen Kingston has been talking about him. Maybe you're talking about a different doctor, because Karen Kingston has fled to Mexico, but she's still alive, thank God. But there's another doctor. Okay, yeah. The other one, I think she was in Germany, or was she in Mexico where she got killed? I think it was Europe. But anyway, I just want to bring. See, the problem is, I see like with Alan Masters, and I named them by name. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you're leading a talk show host of a former show that went on for like 60 years, that I got along really good with Roy too, and he had a blessed show. He had one, like an original, very, very intuitive show. So now they've taken over that and they've kind of warped it into their own thing. And if you're going to be a public figure and do that and be part of a church, then you need to take it like a man when somebody like me or you comes out publicly and protests about part of you. That doesn't mean I'm on a jihad against the foundation or Alan Masters. That's a bunch of crap, because I've been accused of that.
Can you believe that?
Huh?
Or they accuse you of trying to take over the foundation.
It's a bunch of BS, because the thing is, the thing is, instead of just leaving things open for debate, they've cut me off, and they've cut you off too from their radio show. And that's fine. I'm not like, it's not fine like good and honest, but it doesn't affect me. It's just not honest. It's not honest. And if they were open to truth and were right, they never would do that, ever.
They never would be the type of man. I mean, even Tucker Carlson, if he talks bad about somebody, that's an open invitation. They can come on the show and debate him. That's his
right.
Stand. That anybody that he talks bad about, they can come on the show and try to disagree and recover their name, so to speak, their reputation.
Right.
And
I requested that.
You disagreed with them on how holy and righteous Trump is, and they talk horrible about you on air, but then they won't let you come on the show and try to set things.
No, they won't.
Give your side of the story, at least. It's like a court of law.
Right.
They only want the prosecution to speak, and
right.
And they complain like a bunch of girls about you sending emails and chats. I mean, you don't have to open emails. I get plenty of emails from companies. I don't want them to send me emails, and I've unsubscribed, but they come back anyway. So what are you going to do? Sit there and complain?
Well, yeah, and I don't even.
Or you just erase the email.
And I don't write that many emails. That's just a falsehood. I just don't. But the ones I do, I put links to true things of the warfare that we're under now. It's very, very important. Like you said, if they don't want to see it, you can delete it. Now, Alan asked me, take me off your list. So I don't even email Alan or Jan at all, because they're so close-minded, But the thing is, oh shoot, my boss is calling. Can you talk for a second?
I will. Concerning Fabian and Alan right there, he's right. as far as, you know, how many emails is he sending? Is he sending one every day? Wow. They complained about him chatting on the online. Yet when he was chatting and disagreeing with people, that chat line was humming, right? And but they call him a one-trick pony. Wow. So what? There's some people dedicated to stopping abortion.
So is it
Yeah,
beyond?
know about other stuff, but their main goal is to, let's say, stop abortion or stop people from smoking. That's their thing. You know, their father died of smoking or whatever, and now they become, or their kid did, their child did, and now they, you know, they.
All right, I won't. Stupid me. Okay. Bye.
And so accusing him of being a one-trick pony is ridiculous.
Yeah. And no, my main focus is to help people onto the path, you know, of silent prayer meditation, so they can become free, as I am becoming free. I'm not going to just, you know, only do one thing, but it is a huge thing. But what I noticed that with people like Alan and Jan and others there, that they really don't see the severity of the problem. They either saw it or don't care, or don't care to keep up on it. But it's all over. It's all over Rumble. It's all over BitChute. It's all over Sherry Tenpenny, who's a specialist doctor, and many other doctors. There's no denying it. Anyone who cares about their brother and sisters keeps up on it, because there's never in history of the world been an attack on the world like this, and it's not stopping. So why the hell would I stop? I'm not gonna stop.
You know, Fabian, they have even said out loud, and it's been recorded, they want the population to go from 7 billion to 500 million.
Right.
Now that's a lot of murdering, and you can only accomplish that through, you know, chemical or biological means, and biological seems to be the choice.
Well, yeah, but they're going to do it by nuclear warfare too. I'm afraid, but because I believe that's the red horseman is already starting to ride, because it's not quick enough for them, for Satan. But we're in revolution.
Have you noticed how often socialist countries go to war with each other? Germany went to war with Russia in World War II. They were both socialists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were called fascists, but fascism, socialism, it's the same thing.
Right. And the thing is, you know, the criticism on my persistence. Now, I would like to say that persistence doesn't equal being pushy or being being obsessed. There's a difference. It all depends on the spirit you're coming from, how you're, you know, where you're coming from. So it's very easy for them to label me as obsessed and kind of I've been called crazy on air too, because if they don't have that love enough to at least, you know, keep up with this and help people with it, they see someone like me doing it, it kind of embarrasses them. Rather than they're just being honest with it and asking God for more caring and love, they attack me, because then I become the problem. That's all it is. And I got banned for chats because whenever they would persistently, and they still are, praising Trump as the anointed, you know, like now, oh my gosh, you know.
Yeah.
So with their persistence, I persisted with my rebuttal. That's all it was. That's all it was. I didn't go on there and spam anti-Trump stuff. I was just a loyal opposition for their persistent, morally misguided praise of a man who has objectively betrayed us. That's just the way it is. It's not my opinion.
And on top of all that, he's not a Christian. He wouldn't go around promoting holding up the pride flag and proudly saying how the log cabin Republicans are standing behind him and all this stuff. Politics or no politics, you put Christianity first.
Right.
And you don't get a single homosexual to vote for you. That's fine. That's a great thing.
And somehow they excuse that away too. See, that's
Yeah.
why it's
Yeah. Oh,
turned in,
important in my religion, no, it isn't. No,
it's devolved. Yeah,
it is.
it's devolved into a cult of Trump personality. And that is another reason why I persist, like on social media and stuff. And they, like Patrick has said, oh, you hit people with a hammer over the head with it. No, it's social media. So you post different creative things to try to wake up people or help somebody. But whoever doesn't want to read it doesn't need to read it.
And
So
if you
it's
hit them,
not, it's not.
and Fabian, even if you hit them over the head with it, what did Jesus tell Peter? He said, "Get behind me, Satan." Did he mince words?
No,
Did
no.
he go soft on him or something? Say, oh, brother, you're just a little bit too excited, and I got a mission to do, and all that stuff. No, he said, "Get behind me, Satan." So when when you when you push the things you push, or I push the things I push, they want it on a silver platter, and a soft pillow, and
Well, yeah, and I think they
they talk a
expect
lot
like
about delivery, the
they
way
don't.
you say it, and all this stuff.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, it does matter how you come across. I agree with that, but I know myself well enough, that I'm not doing the thing like I did with Jesser Peterson, that I overdid it and I really was getting off on it, even though what I was exposing was very true and it was actually worse than what we knew. But nevertheless, I overdid it because I had some anger for bullies. But I don't, thank God, Roy helped me with that. I don't have that issue now. So I actually would love it if Trump would repent and wake up. But my focus is not to try to help Trump, it's to try to help the people on my side that are caught up in a cult, because I know it's damaging their whole life. It's not just this one thing. Because if you can't stand up to this, there's a multitude of other things you're not seeing, you're blind to.
This country is not going to make a comeback.
No.
That comeback includes LGBTQ people being a vital part of the political process and a vital part of the nation's life. You think God is appreciating that? You think he's really happy about that at all? No, not at all.
No. Well,
He
we
wants
were the
people to repent. He doesn't want us to coddle them and tell them that they're fine. It's gotten so bad now that first we looked the other way for homosexuality. Now we're looking the other way for men taking homosexuality to the next step, which is to actually change your body.
yeah.
You
Well,
know, drugs and
Roy was it's yeah, yeah, Roy was right. Before he passed away, he said condolences to America because he knew when the COVID stuff was happening and all this lockdown BS, he knew we were gone. We got taken over. And then the C thing, that people put in their body. When he saw that, he didn't have a lot to say except, bye bye America. And this time it's for real. I mean, and the thing is, if you have your faith in the moment, in the light, in our own, silent intuition, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever happens, it's going to be a glorious ending with Jesus setting up his kingdom that's going to be so awesome here on earth finally. I just have no worries. I just want to be ready myself. I'm not taking for granted that I'm, in. I don't have that attitude.
Yeah, because you don't know what the next moment's going to bring. And
I
you
have
can
faith.
oh, I've resisted all temptation, and then you get this temptation out of left field you never expected. And so you always have to be on your toes in that respect. Make sure you always do your meditation,
Right.
and that you are aware of those real subtle emotions that can rock your world. All of a sudden,
Right.
stable, and the sea is calm, but your boat is rocking. So
Yeah. But it's wonderful once you get on the path. it builds. Like I remember I said that at one of the meetings that when I was a member of the Bond cult, actually, that I said that to Jesse, that and I was right, even back then, that when you are living in the moment and you're, letting go of all your thoughts, and you're honest with people, the character builds over time. And Jesse said he totally disagreed with that, naturally, because it wasn't building with him, as we know, but it does build. So you'll get to a point where, in your heart, it's not going to ever be taken away, but you don't take it for granted. But you know what I mean? It's like, I just feel like it's solid. It's God's not going to let you go.
I hope not, because I've lived a life that if he let me go tomorrow, he'd be justified in it. It's there are so many temptations to, I come from a very weak-minded and cowardly background, right? I've been living that way forever. So there's like a built-in anxiety. Am I ever going to really get over all that, completely? And there is a faith that I will, but I don't know. I just have to do my prayer every day and see how God will change me. And so far,
Right.
that formula has worked. And
But it's real. It's really about this too.
oh yeah,
Wait,
of course.
because the temptations really will come, like when we're working, or we're distracted, or we're doing something that's hard or something. Then boom, you'll get those thoughts, or you start talking to yourself. So if we're like always aware of that, there's just I don't know. I think Roy said that once you're on the path, you really cannot sin. I believe that, but I'm not saying I'm there. But
So
I believe.
go ahead. I believe.
I believe that that's the case. Like I think Jesus said something about that too. I don't know, but it makes sense to me that once you get a ways down the path, that you're sealed, you're in there, but you don't take it for granted, of course, because that's not the nature of it.
Well, I'd like to say that my my discipline has improved. I just have more discipline than I used to have, and it doesn't feel like discipline. It doesn't feel willful. Like I don't have to exert
Right.
my to be disciplined, less and less, and I have to be willful to speak up. Uh, 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 if I'm not given the if I don't speak up in the moment, but I load up in my mind what I'm going to say, and then I say that, it always comes out wrong, and I'm speaking it with the wrong spirit, and it's all a disaster. So I pretty much let all the correction um, uh, thoughts go by, to correct others, and to speak about
Yeah.
kingdom to others. I let
Right.
I let I want more and more for God to control my will, and to be my will, like Christ said, let your will be done and not my will.
Right. Yeah. Because it's really like, to me, God proves
Pressure.
himself. God proves himself to me every time I do something like this, where I didn't think about anything to say. I didn't go with nothing. Like, but I have, I the spirit's there with awareness and of, like, certain facts. But I how is that? That's like a miracle to me. Because
It, it it truly it truly
and that
is.
and that can change people. And I notice, like, when I'm working with people, I'm driving all these different patients and stuff. They have a natural, they relate to me very very nicely because I like to talk to them and ask them stuff, and it's just natural, and
You
I
know,
think that's
I in the mirror, Fabian, and my one eye is messed up. This one, it's open a lot, like big. But I've noticed that there's more now of a kind spirit coming through my eyes instead of like an angry spirit. I like when I was protesting Jesse, I was fresh. I was fresh into the meditation at night, and I
uh-huh.
had frustration and over the cancer and all that kind of stuff just outflowing from my mouth. When I speak, everybody can see, and a lot of people commented on it. You're angry, you're angry.
Oh yeah.
Okay, okay, but am I telling the truth here? Let's cover that part also. Um,
Right. Yeah,
but
yeah.
but now even
Honest. Hmm?
patients used to always keep me in a griping, complaining attitude. That stuff is disappearing from me, and
Yeah, yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so glad about that.
Uh-huh.
Huh,
Yeah, yeah,
mind
me too. There's a spirit in us that wants to look for wrong, but then so the more I notice that, it just goes, it recedes, but then sometimes there's wrong that I will speak up about, but it's different because I'm not doing it with a mean spirit, and it's actually helpful. I'd really like to help the situation, so it's a
yeah,
different thing, and then it just turns off. Then I'm not going out with the idea of looking for another thing anymore. I just don't. I
for
used
a
to
fight,
do that.
I could win,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's
I'm
Patrick
not
accused me of
I'm
that.
not very well, with my spirit. It's pushy, it's mean, it's that kind of thing, and that's what you get when you load up on what you're going to say. That's what comes.
Right. Yeah, Patrick accused me of wanting to fight, and I'm just, both Patrick and Alan claim that I'm a disruptor, and I just like to fight. But I think I'm not going to try, to convince anybody otherwise. But I think people who've seen me and know me and see the videos, that's not the spirit of what I'm doing. It's just not.
I can see it.
Like,
It's pretty apparent to me. I don't know what's the problem with everybody else.
yeah. Well, I think the thing that Alan has done is he's judged me from his intellect, because he tends to believe that his thoughts still, and he thinks it's the truth, so he's getting confused. So he's judged me so harshly, and someone objective wouldn't do that, um, and he's turned people who are weak that listen to the show against me, so they've all judged me too, so that everything I do is just discounted, and of course then they just finally got rid of me, because so it's
Because
actually a very
that didn't really work. That's why they completely silence you, because even
right.
opposition or dragging your character through the mud and all that stuff. He hates his father, he hates his mother, he hates Trump, he hates this, he hates that. He's a man filled with hate. And
Right.
and yet I didn't see you getting all angry and mad and pushy like they say. You're responding with an answer that they can't answer to. It's like when Christ spoke a few times, it would say in the scripture, and they had nothing more to say. They walked away from that. And
It's
what truth does, it puts you in that kind of, if you're of the ego and someone speaks the truth to you, it's going to just knock you down. You won't have a,
Yeah, but it's amazing though that I've noticed with several people, they cannot deal with the actual point that I brought up, that is factual, whatever it is, especially concerning Trump and the products that he's continually still gaslighting people unmercilessly as their loved ones are injured, as eyewitness testimony is on video of people dying. It's on video. It's all over. Um, they can't deal with that, how it's morally consistent to not stand up to this guy and totally cast him out of our party. So what they do is instantly in their mind they turn it to me, like I hate my father, whatever. It's like instant, almost every single time. I have never had one really dig down and stick with the point. They always turn it on me, and it's not
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Oh
And
man.
if they were honest there at the show, at Roy's blessed former show, that they would have me on, and then we'd have a lively debate and just clear the air. But they can't do that, because then they're going to be shown for the slander and the judgment that they've done to me by name on air. They would be shown to be very wrong, and they don't want to do that.
You know, Fabian, when we were arguing about Trump, because I was like a real big fan of Donald Trump. I absolutely loved his courage and how he stood up to the media and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And even when he did wrong, I would kind of like excuse it away and say, you know, he's overall he's still pretty good, you know. And
Mhm.
now he fumbled this last crisis that we had so badly, and he continues to support what he did, and that you have to be a blind man not to see that this guy's playing us. He's
Yeah,
he's the controlled opposition. You hear that? You don't hear that on the left. You hear that on the right. You know, guys who are more aware than the other political people. They'll be like, he's controlled opposition. Here's why. Look at this. You never hear him talk about this. He's controlled. You know, when you're on Fox News, you're not going to talk real bad about the product. I'm good, ain't I? Okay, the product, because they're your main sponsor. They're your main revenue. There's no way you're going to expose them. They're all over. I mean, they sponsor, you know, you can't turn on hardly any show. It used to be they were just on the soap operas, you know, the medicines and stuff. My aches and pains, and here's what you do about it, and here's how to clean the kitchen. That stuff used to just be on soap, you know. But
yeah,
the big time shows, the sports shows and the entertainment shows, they used to have, you know, selling cars and glamorous.
right.
But now you see that those drug companies, they're dominating everything. The news, they dominate advertising in the news, entertainment, sports, just soap operas, everything.
Yeah, yeah. They've taken over. Yeah, they're they are so bad. It's This whole thing is so bad, and then Trump's still lying about it. It's if I wasn't becoming patient, I would be so angry, because it is so bad. When you go in and you genetically alter humans, that's what it's done. It's genetically altered. The doctors that know about virology 2 years ago, they said, don't do this. My God, this is crazy. I knew that from listening to them and understanding what it does. Anybody with common sense could see that, let alone someone who's in charge of a whole population of a nation.
You know what
The
people
buck stops there.
you know, we have this transgender thing going on, but you know, the next step above, on from that is going to be, and I've heard they're already been experimenting with this a long time, is actually mutating people with animals. You know, and they'll do it genetically,
Yeah.
where now you're like the mythology type of people, half horse and half man kind of thing, and
Oh, yeah.
they got all kind of evil up their sleeves that they're working on. You know,
Yeah. These are modern day.
AI
These
robot,
are
a lie. I mean, just
Yeah. They're modern day witches and warlocks, big time, big time,
yeah,
big. Yeah.
they're
That's why America's going down. America is going down, and deservedly so. Innocents will be killed, but God will sort it all out. But we're in Revelation right now, and I'm going to put links that will show that too. 2828n.com. We're over 2 years in Revelation, and I'm I mean, I wish I could start my business and all that stuff. I have plans, but I say, I'm happy actually that Jesus will be returning and taking care of everything.
I don't see any other going to turn around really. The Sodomites, they have firm control over the morals of the
Yeah.
world. I mean, African nations are still holding out. They're not supporting the LGBTQ mess, and they're getting plenty of pressure from the corrupt Western democracies. And I mean, even China's not pushing that stuff. Communist China, on their own people, they're not pushing that. But the idea is to destroy the free America, so they put all the evil sexual corruptions on and drug corruptions onto us. China tries to keep their population as far
Oh yeah.
from drugs and uh,
Yeah.
sexual perversion as far as possible.
Oh yeah. Well, they're getting ready to take. They're gonna. I believe they're gonna take over. They're gonna bomb us and then come and try to take our territory. But Armand Martikian said, "Man, such a big improvement in Martin's appearance. I'm in awe."
You ain't seen nothing yet, brother. Oh wait, where is my arm? Okay, yeah. I don't have much muscle, but I go to the gym like 6 days a week. I'm really happy about that. There's plenty of temptation not to go, put it off. Oh, I'd rather organize my bedroom than go lift the weights. But so far so good. My spirit has been willing to go there, and it's only an hour a day, so it's no big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. I love working out.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't, but I'm getting used to it, and maybe eventually I'll learn to love it.
yeah. Yeah.
I ever got into lifting weights and stuff was to impress the women and try to get a nice body that they would be attracted to, but I never really did it for health. And
Yeah.
now it's more health and less trying to impress the women about looking good and stuff, because I'm too messed up anyway to worry about that. Too old and too messed up, and now getting too spiritual to care about that stuff.
Yeah. I've wasted a
Yeah,
couple of years.
and them being the goal of my life. I got to hook
Yeah.
so I can be at peace, because that's all men are trying to do. They're anxious and everything. They think if they find someone who loves them, I'd like to use those quotation marks, loves them, that they are going to, they're going to be made.
Yeah.
Like getting in on the mafia, you get made, and
Yeah.
that's the answer to their loneliness and stuff. And it's nowhere close to the answer.
No. Yeah, I believe that if, say, right now we could be taken over to heaven, like just like an instant, and in the presence of Jesus or God, the sensation of love would eliminate, overpower, overshadow any kind of love need for a woman or anything. It wouldn't even come close,
It's
to
interesting,
the
and the scriptures do talk about that, Fabian. They say that uh, when love is finally brought to its fullness, there will be no need for anything else.
right.
It will be God's love, and that will give us life, and we'll be living from that purely, and there won't be this ego struggle.
No, no, it's just, yeah.
But
Well, it's been, huh?
that's what scripture says. But I'm just wondering if once we die and we come to the other side, will there be challenges still? And will we still grow in wonderment? But I guess you can still grow without temptation. I just don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, sure you can. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like grow from being stressed by temptation and not reacting to it. That causes a spiritual maturity. But I don't know if that will be happening anymore in heaven, or if the maturity you reach here will be the maturity you take to the other side.
well, I would believe there's a growth from the light, from good, where you're discovering new things, you're learning new things. I don't know. I mean, I've never been there. I'm kind of, I just know I love these YouTube videos of people who describe their
Yeah.
visitations to heaven. And you could tell, like, these people, the ones that are real, it's changed their whole attitude in life. And and some of their descriptions are, wow, it's like, we can't imagine how good it is and all the things you do. And sounds like they create things and all just a whole, you know,
The
we just know so little.
stories are
Huh?
so different too. They're not cookie stories.
Huh?
One will have a person, one guy or woman will have they'll personally see Jesus. Other people won't.
Right.
They'll be saved by some powerful angel from a hellish demon or something like that. Remember that one dream, or not dream,
Yeah.
but when
Oh, he
someone
had
died, they went to almost like a purgatory place, and there was this demon trying to take them away, and then
yeah.
this big strong angel came and rescued him.
Yeah, that was the Marine guy. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is an incredible story. That is like, wow,
and what caused me to be a little bit disturbed, I should say, and I really mean that word, is when you sent me that video with those people who were talking about their dreams of imminent nuclear attack, and
Yeah, 50 of them. Yeah.
yeah, 50 of them, and each one was like different,
But very similar too.
and they had similarities, but each dream was kind of different, and that was really unnerving. I'm like, whoa, I
But
believe it happened, because if we get too close, if Ukraine wins too strongly, and they're already trying to capture Crimea back, and
yeah.
that tripwire that causes the nukes to fly.
Yeah, it could, but they have to do what they have to do, they can't let the enemy just steal their country. So they're noble what they're doing, but there's no stopping. The story's been written, so regardless, it's yeah.
So you believe that everything has already been decided by God ahead of time?
The main story, not the individual souls, but the what we're seeing with Revelation already and all that, that's all
And
laid
have
out.
individual souls fall into line.
Mhm.
Okay, if too many individual souls get saved, so to speak, I mean, they come back to God, then his prophecies all disappear. And
But narrow is the way. It's always been that way, Martin. It's narrow is the
yeah, there's
path.
no worry there.
Huh?
I said, yeah, you're right. There's no worry there. It's
No,
all very few that find it.
no. I believe, I mean, it makes sense. That's the only variable in the whole plan, the whole story. And it's like, it's awesome. I mean, I just, I, with what's going to happen, it's going to be very, very intense, but there's going to be the Antichrist, who's like going to be like, a fake Jesus, but there's going to be two witnesses that are going to be coming. And all this should happen 2025. And I'm not a prophet, but Gabriel at 2028end.com, he lays it out beautifully and biblically. And I just see that it's authentic. And I don't believe people like that. I just don't. But it's real deal. And I
Hey,
could see it. Hmm?
speak your opinion on this. I saw Roy on a videotape the other day, Roy Masters, and he said something about um, God couldn't create love, so he created choice. He can't put love in us until we have a choice,
Right.
or something like that. And that got me to, uh, thinking about my beliefs. And um,
Yeah, I see that. I mean, that's he can't create love in us. I mean, he is love. He puts love in us, but he can't make us. We have to choose it. We have to want it. That's the only variable in this
and we
in
have
this
to, and I don't have enough sense to want it.
Well, yeah, you do. I mean, you suffered. The pain has caused that. I mean, God loves you enough that
If there
that
wasn't enough pain and enough threat of death, I probably wouldn't have come around. So
maybe not.
I can't take
Yeah.
for that, decision, so to speak. I was kind of, um, thank God, he kind of like forced my hand.
Yeah, but a lot of people get in that situation and they will choose just continued pride and they'll die,
They they will judge God for putting them in that situation.
Right.
Yeah, like Thornton does.
Yeah. Um, Martin, don't want to be rude, but what condition do you have? That's Vlad Sheriak. I guess he doesn't know that you had squamous cell
Oh
skin
yeah,
cancer.
I have. I was diagnosed with on April 1st of this year. I was diagnosed with. I mean, I was already diagnosed with squamous cell a year ago or more, but they said that I had developed into stage 4, and the metastatic, the cancer had gone metastatic. It went on my lungs, the squamous cell now, and then I already had a near death experience with the leukemia, and that went away, by itself. I wasn't doing anything, holistically speaking. I wasn't doing anything much different with my diet or anything at that time. And I think I was chewing on some vitamin C tablets or something, but that's about it. Um, and then um, recently, I came down with a life-threatening staph infection on my left leg that spread all the way up to my upper leg and to my right leg eventually. And I thought, wow, I'm gonna have to have both legs chopped off. Yeah. My feet, I had a black skin. My feet had my toes, some of my toes had black, dead skin on the toes. And I said, oh, I'm gonna have to have these toes amputated, because I'm not getting enough circulation there, and so much so that it causes skin to die. I've never seen
Yeah.
black. I was kind of
But
freaked.
it's all miraculously getting better. And
Yeah, but now those black spots are gone, replaced
yeah,
with flesh again. I don't know how that happened.
yeah, and I think it would be awesome, like if they were a little bit, less intellectual and awake, that the Foundation Radio Show should have interview you, because, well, maybe later when it's all gone, but it's all like 90% of it's gone, because it's a testament to living in the moment and the meditation that Roy shared with the world. It really is. And there's been a lot of people have been cured of cancer with it, but here's like a real life specimen. And are they even, it doesn't seem like they're even interested.
Well, they will be after a while. I tell you, I was
Hopefully.
the meditation had made me into a real hard-headed knucklehead. Okay, I had the money to afford the 35,000 to 85,000 that these doctors said they could get me over cancer, get me out of my cancer situation in 3 weeks if I just went down to Mexico where they're allowed to do their practice, right? And
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, I'd rather die than pay that much money to live. I said, I know God takes care of the poor people. There's got to be a poor man's answer to cancer.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Just like that.
Zero.
And so I said,
Zero carb.
I'm not going to go at the advice of some friends from Delaware. I'm not going to go to these doctors. They're just too expensive. And why should I live and a poor man die from cancer? Because I can afford it.
Right.
That just doesn't sound fair. And so I waited for God to kind of show me the cheaper way to get it done. And so far, that has worked well for me.
Yes. And Thornton, he says he has bone cancer, No, it's not bone cancer. You've had squamous cell skin cancer and leukemia, right? That's
And
not bone
spread
cancer.
to the bones. See, when it meant when the skin cancer
Right. But
metastatic, that means now it's going to your organs, your bones, all that stuff.
yeah,
And
but it's you
that,
don't have bone cancer.
right, that's what it did. But it's
Right.
not necessarily bone cancer. I just got cancer.
No.
They found cancer tumors with those PET scans and CAT scans and everything. They found it in my skull because see that's where the cancer was. It was right here, and it went so deep that it
Right.
chewing away at my skull.
Mhm.
In fact, I have a hole in my skull right here, right behind all this. There was a hole in my skull, and I guess that's cleared up because all my brains didn't fall out.
Yeah, you're still somewhat coherent.
Well, since the cancer has eaten away my skull, and the only thing left was a thin membrane. I said, "How long will it take for the cancer to eat through that membrane?" And then I die from the cancer destroying my brain. And he couldn't give me an answer. He didn't really want to give me an answer, but it seems like it's been many months now, and
Yeah.
this thing this thing ate through my skull in a matter of months, and now it can't get through a membrane. Something has happened there that I don't know what's gone on, but something
Well,
from killing me.
yeah, your killer white blood cells are activated. They're able to
I don't
kill
know
the
what,
cancer.
baby. And at the time, I hadn't done any holistic stuff yet, so I don't know what stopped it really.
Mhm.
And you
Well,
3 months of doing a holistic diet and all that stuff, to cure cancer, it takes that long. Whether you do fenbendazole or not, it's going to take months.
uh-huh.
I don't think I had that much time left because how fast the cancer had eaten through my skull.
Well, God wants you to be around, so you can help people more.
And I'm really glad about that.
Yeah.
I want to be around to mature, just to become a better man, and mature. I mean, it's ridiculous that I've been weak and cowardly for as long as I have been.
Yeah, and people need help. There's a lot of intellectual voices all over, everywhere. And they need the real, intuitive, spiritual people. The world needs it, in these last days. So we could do this podcast, like maybe you could do it and then patch me in, or the other way around, every Friday night. But I think we should do it at 7 because I had a hard time. I had to
Okay,
work a little late.
but okay, everybody who will eventually listen to this, um, we'll do 7 o'clock on Friday, and
Every Friday, yeah.
we'll go ahead and start advertising this, Fabian, so we reach more people than just the people we know.
Yeah, yeah, we could get it pretty big. Yeah, we'll pay for some advertising. Okay, well, great. We'll have a great evening. I'm going to have some more tea and do some workout. And it was good to see you in Grants Pass, Oregon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to be here. All right, Fabian, talk to you
Okay.
later. Bye.
Okay, see you later. Bye, everybody.